Good morning, it's Maryon Stewart here, and as promised, I've come to give you the first of the tips to get through the holiday season and keep your cool. Christmas and New Year are the time when we spend lots of time with our family, and it can be stressful even if you haven't gotten any symptoms. But when you've been awake all night thrashing around with hot flushes and night sweats, and you're lacking sleep and feeling tetchy and not very sociable, it isn't going to be filling you with joy to think of how you're going to get through this period. Especially if you're feeling bloated as well and you can't get into your clothes and you don't feel very sexy and you're dreading what's going to happen when your partner suggests getting intimate. It's challenging, I think, for the best of us. So obviously the holidays are only a few days away now, so there's not a lot that can be done to eradicate your symptoms completely, because that takes months, probably 5 or 6 months altogether. But there are lots of things that you can do to minimise the suffering and minimise your embarrassment and really sort of be a bit more in control, if you like. So I think the first thing is when you feel the hot flush coming on, don't panic, because I think we tend to feel it's worse than it is from the outside. So you're aware what's going on. You feel like you've got steam coming out of your ears, but not necessarily everybody around you knows that that's happening. So I think to really sit still, probably grab a glass of cold water and drink that down, because I think that will help to take the edge off the flush. Do a little bit of deep breathing. If you happen to be near a door or a window, then you can take a walk outside to cool yourself down. Having layers of clothing will help you, which you probably already know, but if you wear thin clothing and you can peel it off layer by layer, that will help a bit too, because sometimes after you've had the hot flush, you get cold. So then you need to put your clothes back on again, and it can be just it could just feel ridiculous that you feel like you look ridiculous because you keep getting dressed and undressed, but actually no one's really going to notice. So I think that's something else that you can do. Relaxation, I think I've mentioned before, is probably the most effective thing that you can do in the short term to help stop the flushing. So I don't just mean watching TV or knitting, I mean proper relaxation like meditation, the relaxation you do at the end of a yoga session, or you could do the Pazizz app or something like it that I mentioned last time, which I love because it takes you off into an amazingly relaxed and chilled place and then brings you back again feeling like you've had a sleep for an hour or two, even after 20 minutes or half an hour. So you can try that and to put that into your day, just like you would cleaning your teeth. So it's not a nice idea. It's absolutely important, imperative actually, that you do your daily relaxation at least once a day, maybe even twice a day if you're having mega flushes. And you also want to avoid things like hot drinks. So let your drinks cool down, because that can bring on a flush. Caffeine brings on flushes. So tea, coffee and chocolate are really off the list for now. You need to use alternatives. But bear in mind, if you do that, suddenly you may get withdrawal symptoms. So you might be better to tail off over a few days, or do it over the weekend or sometime when you've got some quiet space for a day or two. And alcohol, that's the other thing, because it's festive stuff that everyone, wherever you go, there's alcohol this time of the year, you can't avoid it. But you can really try and pretend you're having a gin and tonic and just put tonic in a glass. And if you do have wine, then water it down so you have a spritzer. But actually, wine and alcohol really do bring on the flushing, so it will make it worse for you. So I think maybe this year you need to sit out and just make sure you've got plenty of treats for yourself that you can have so that you don't feel awful about not participating. The other thing I think you can do, which we'll talk more about in another session, is to communicate to your partner, because I think it's really important that your partner understands that this life stage is a transient problem that you're facing together. And it isn't you in isolation, it's something that happens to women. And once you know that there's a way out and that you can overcome your symptoms completely and feel better than you can remember in a space of a few short months, your partner will buy into that. And you need to get as much support as you possibly can. So you don't want to be offered lots of alcoholic drinks. You don't want lots of chocolate in the fridge. You don't want to be pressed into getting physical if you don't feel like it. And you need to actually say that gently and get some understanding. So I hope that helps, and I will be back and in a day or two to talk a bit more. I've got some other tips for the holidays to get you through that, and then hopefully we'll be starting in the new year with the first of the chapters in the new book, Beat Menopause the Natural Way. So I'm really looking forward to that. My website should be going live in the next day, I think. Hopefully it's porting at the moment, so you may just find a holding page there at the moment. But I'll be talking a bit more about supplements as well. It's hard to be very specific about supplements for this, for groups of people, obviously not on a one-to-one, but I can tell you about some of the scientifically based supplements that we use, and hopefully you'll be able to find something that works for you. So I hope you have a good weekend, and please write in with your questions and let me know what you'd like me to talk about and address in particular. And I'll be here again in a few days, and I'll put some more information up on in the group about tips for the holidays in the meantime. Okay, bye for now.